Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for joining us from warm Tampa. Really excited to have Josh Dinneen on with us today for episode 132 of Tech Sales Insights. He's a president of Blue Mantis, recently rebranded from Green Pages. We'll talk about that. And has a great title topic called Driving Top of Funnel to Get More New Logos. So we'll get some great insights there. And certainly Josh has a great career and lots of other words of wisdom to share with us. We have as our sponsor Gong, who's the revenue intelligence sponsor of Sales Community. Been around for a while, has lots of great customers, is and will continue to be one of the leaders of the emerging and fast-growing sales tech stack, not only revenue intelligence, also modules around forecasting, sales enablement, and a lot of other great areas. So definitely feel free to check out Gong, and we can always help you. And also, as always, brought to you by Sales Community. For those that are members, thank you very much. For those that are not, Tucker will throw up a link. You can go to salescommunity.com/summerfree and get a free year membership where you can get some great content. You get these podcasts. We have a very impressive advisory board of lots of the industry's best, like Josh. So anyway, getting to Josh here. So lives in Norwell, Mass. So Boston sports fan, of course, right?
Of course.
There you go. And besides work and family, also is avid outdoorsman, fishing, sports, offshore fishing, golf, and a cool military charity called Innovets. Maybe tell us a little bit about Innovets. I know you have your Marine background, which we'll get to also in a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And we're really excited to be partnered with Innovets. It's part of the Mass Fallen Heroes organization. And we met one of the founders about 18 months ago, Greg Kelly, who's also a decorated American war hero and a Boston firefighter. And he's been instrumental in our partnership and driving that. Really excited there. It really aligns to what our strategy was around philanthropy. We were looking for a good charitable organization to partner with and really be relevant to and make a difference. And it's really important for us as an organization to give back to the communities we serve. And certainly we felt, helping our veterans would be a great way to do that. Innovets is a great organization that really helps not only returning vets, but helps the Gold Star families come in, understand that they have a path in technology. It aligns them through networking and other investments in education to make them, to give them a career path in stuff like cyber and cloud and other great areas of tech that we're grounded in. So they've been doing a great job. They have an unbelievable foundation, and we're really proud to be partnered with them.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Great that you do that and lead by example as well. So we have a couple introductions. So Ron Dupler, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for a long time, CEO there at Blue Mantis, says Josh is an experienced technology service provider executive that leads from the front. He has a strong track record of driving growth and organizational transformation at Blue Mantis and other organizations he has led during his great career in our industry. Terry Richardson, fairly recent CRO, great go-to-market executive for sure. So Josh joined Blue Mantis, formerly Green Pages, in 2018 after his company Norwell Technology Group was acquired. He has developed great relationships across the technology industry and is equally passionate about working with charitable organizations. Not surprising, as a former Marine, his current involvement is with Innovets, which is Boston's first veteran and Gold Star family-focused business incubator. So some nice shout outs there. And I think we've only kind of recently met the past couple of years, but certainly have always been impressed with kind of what you've done, how you've done it. And we'll find out a lot more here about the impressive growth. And you guys had a cool kind of rebranding event last week down by the Garden, which we'll also talk about in a little bit. So with your military background, really amazing. So you were originally UMaine, a football scholarship. You left to go to the Marines for a couple of years, went to Northeastern, did some rugby, sort of, a lot of great things there. So, and also hopefully it's okay to say, thanks for serving our country. You actually served for 8 years in the Marines, including some in Afghanistan, right?
Correct. Yes.
Very, very impressive. Thanks.
Thank you.
And then you're you had one first job out of Northeastern, which is teaching, but then your real first corporate job was at AT&T as a rep?
That's right. That's where I got my start in technology.
Awesome. And then maybe kind of quickly just go through your career story from there.
Yeah, so I was really lucky to have the opportunity to join the AT&T team, and I didn't know much about technology back then. And this was back when AT&T was still selling a lot of voice and was really getting into the data side of the business, and was lucky enough to be trained by some of the best, in my opinion. AT&T at the time was considered world-class from a sales development perspective, and I certainly saw that. There's a lot of folks that I met that were in my class, that first class at AT&T. They're still really good friends of mine, great network that it provided me, but it really gave me a lot of insight, not only on how to prepare my career for selling, but how to lead in a career. They did a lot of really good development in those areas, and I was lucky to be a part of some really cool programs that fast-tracked me there, which was exciting. When you look at that time in space, this was pre-dot-com bubble bursting, so it was a fun space to be in. It was certainly I learned a lot of lessons from not only the highs but the lows, and I was lucky enough, I would call it pure luck, that I was aligned more to a brick and mortar business alignment, and that was not done on purpose, just done by happenstance. And so when the dot-com bubble burst, I was really able to transcend and still be pretty successful there. When they got bought by SBC, it was kind of turned into a different company. Obviously, they kept the AT&T name and brand going forward, but I felt that was a time for me to explore other avenues. And I was hired by a company called Level 3, which had bought a company that I just hired to. So it was kind of really quickly became Level 3. Level 3 was changing their business model. They were going from the wholesale carrier or the carrier's carrier in telecom to being more of a business to business with their wholesale division. And they were buying a bunch of companies to really bolster that go-to-market approach. Luckily, I was on the ground floor of that in the Boston, New England markets, and was able to really see some great success there. Unfortunately, they were buying a lot of companies at the time and became problematic placing orders and doing simple things in the business, which became frustrating. And I was being courted by a company called Presidio at the time. I had some really good friends over there, Joe DiStefano and Mike McElhaney, that we all worked at AT&T together, and they both were heavily encouraging me to come over and join the crew. And so I met with Bob Murphy, one of the CEOs at the time.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he used to do Bay State with Dave Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Dave Hart's still obviously part of Presidio, and his career has been amazing. Dave Hart and I bumped heads together on the rugby pitch a few times, so we knew each other as well coming in, and so it was great. I was able to learn a lot. I learned, as I always recall, I got to see what the other side of the jack was doing. So we delivered the transport, and I got to get over to the hardware side, the data center side, which is really eye-opening for me. And I had somebody throughout my career told me the closer you get to the application, the more revenue there is. And, I didn't realize what that meant until I got over to that side of the jack, and we were supporting applications and really driving, a lot of value to our customers. And that's really, I got there just pre-VMware, and then VMware hit and exploded, and I was lucky enough to really ride that wave in the data center and storage space. And through that process, one of my customers at the time was what I call a born-again startup. It was a company called Corporate IT Solutions. They're about 10 years old. They're about 10 employees. And the founder, Mike Cook, had recruited me over and asked me to come join and run his sales organization and inevitably, take a stronger lead in running the business. And so after a few no's, I committed, and we went off and had a lot of fun. We were able to grow that company from just under $2 million to over $30 million in 5 years, and inevitably ended up in an acquisition by Rob Stevenson and the team over at Thrive. So that was a great experience for me. I learned a lot in that process and how to really drive go to market. And that was down in a really, when I first started, it was the big '08 bust. And so I was coming on a small company and trying to drive market share in a not great economy. And I learned a lot about what worked and what didn't as we grew in that process, which is exciting. And then on the heels of the corporate IT and Thrive acquisition, I started my own company, Norwell Technology Group. I decided to get out of the managed services business for a bit. I was really wanting to get into more of the consulting and advisory space. Started my company, had it for just about 3 years. Got approached by some great folks looking and inquiring to acquire me. I was certainly shocked when everyone was coming knocking at my door. At first, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. I'm like, why are you guys asking me if I want to be acquired, kind of thing. And inevitably, I was able to broker a deal with Ron Dupler and Green Pages. And, we had a joint mission to really evolve and grow market share and really become strategic in our approach. And Green Pages obviously is a great platform. And he was looking to accelerate his pivot from being a VAR into more of the services. And I brought a lot of experience to bear there. And we certainly brought a lot of credibility around our cybersecurity, our carrier services, and our public sector practices, including our channel go-to-market, which is an alternate route to market here through the telecommunications space. So we were really able to be very additive to the Green Pages evolution and really accelerate the pivot they were trying to do. And I think we did that collaboratively as a great group. And through that evolution, we had a 5-year plan to deliver an exit for our then board. And we were able to do that in less than 3 years. And we were able to recapitalize under Abry Partners at the end of 2021, December of 2021. And really, that was a very pivotal inflection point for our business and our growth. We were seeing some really good organic growth the last few years. And having recapitalized and then retooling our business, the first year underneath Abry was really unleashed a lot of great inertia for the business and allowed us to get rid of some tech debt, allowed us to streamline, realign to the market, realign internally through some restructuring that we did. We brought in and invested in a ton of new leadership, which was really pivotal for us. We brought on folks like Jay Pisteris, which made a giant impact, our CIO and CISO. Stephen DeMayer coming over to reshape our service delivery was extremely impactful. Both of those gentlemen brought tremendous networks to bear to our business as well. So being able to combine our networks to drive just a great team and culture has been awesome. And lastly, we brought on Steve Torres to really round out as we needed a better financial partner and in evolution in our the back end of our business. And Steve's got the right approach there, which has been great. Recently, you mentioned Terry Richardson coming on, who's our latest investment into the leadership team. Couldn't be happier having him there. I know you have a lot of experience with Terry as well as I. And being able to get someone of Terry's caliber to join the firm has been awesome. And he's been here for about 60 days, so he's already making a big impact, which is great. So those big investments in our leadership have really formed us and aligned us to be where we are today. And then some of the big inflection points, like our rebranding that just happened, the brand launch, is really great. It allows us to truly realign to the market. And you and I are going to be talking a bit about driving account acquisition and top of the funnel activity. And really that's the underpinnings to our strategy here, making sure that we're aligned correctly to the market. And being a 30-year-old plus company, we are typecast to some degree. If people have known us in points in time and don't really understand maybe the full breadth of services we could deliver on. So we felt it was good timing not only to have new leadership. We brought on 2 acquisitions this year with our Zenaris acquisition out of Toronto, which gives us great capabilities in our GitOps space, really looking to drive zero code, low code, and automation in the hyperscalers. We brought on Arcus, a great cybersecurity firm here out of the Boston market. And those have been 2 great capability acquisitions, also with some good market share and revenue streams for us. So it's been a busy year for sure, but it's been exciting.
Awesome. Great. Impressive career, and certainly impressive what's going on with Blue Mantis for sure. So if you look back at your impressive career, are there kind of one or two things in particular you think that have really led to your success?
Yeah, I talk about this often. Sales was a different animal back when I got into sales, and I didn't really know what I was walking into. I'd never done any sales prior to that, or at least not formally. And so it was walking into and really getting the support I needed from the organization that gave me that opportunity, which was AT&T. This is back when they did proctored training, and I had an education background. I was big in team sports, and I always thought, well, maybe corporate development and corporate training would be a great path for me initially when I got in there. I'm like, all right, I'll cut my teeth on sales, and maybe I'll get over to the corporate training side. Well, technology certainly threw a monkey wrench in that plan with all the webinars and the web training that happened. But I was lucky to be just before that, and so they flew us around the country and trained us for weeks on end. And every year they would do refresh training, and I'll tell you, I learned how to value sell. I learned how to sell outcomes. AT&T at the time was probably the most expensive, so I was used to defending our price and winning effectively by not really reducing costs to try to win. And this is back when MCI and WorldCom were really slashing prices, and we all know what they were doing on the back end to try to get those hit those price points. They were obviously doing some shady stuff in their books, but when you look at what we were up against competitively, we were still able to grow. People like Rick Fredell, who really, and Pete Costello, who were the leaders in my office at AT&T, gave us great opportunity, to learn and really take advantage of a great market opportunity. And when you look what tech's done from then on, it's really been it's been awesome. And really, that's the underpinnings of the success that I carry today.
Awesome. Really, really cool. So Green Pages, now Blue Mantis, kind of at a high level, what do you say that you guys sell?
Yeah, we're a services-led company. We have 7 core go-to-markets. We do cloud, and underneath cloud for us, it's primarily AWS, Microsoft. We do a great FinOps practice, which really helps organizations understand their cloud spends and manage it proactively, among other things. We have a great GitOps practice, which was really where we're shifting to modern managed services for us. We're really investing heavily there, which helps organizations really wrap a life cycle around their application stack as it relates to the infrastructure requirements and take advantage of the new feature sets that are being released daily from the hyperscalers. And you look back 5, 6, 7 years ago, and the early adopters to the cloud space, they've already accumulated a ton of tech debt because the way their applications are written back then versus the way they need to be today to take advantage of those feature sets has become a bit of a challenge. And we want to wrap a life cycle process around that, helping people get to the cloud effectively. It's lift and shift is not necessarily the right strategy. We really wanted to redo your applications to low code or zero code, and then build really a process around keeping them up and managing the life cycle of that. So that's where we're investing, and in automation as well is a big part of that. RPA, and certainly AI is a huge component that everybody's looking at as well as ourselves. So I think all in all, that's our cloud practice. Cybersecurity is huge for us, has been and will be a big investment of us going forward. As I mentioned, we did an acquisition of Arcus with bringing in Rob Fitzgerald and his team, which has been a great addition to the team. And we are investing in that space regularly. We see a huge opportunity not only to be reactive and from an IR perspective, but also we're doing a lot of proactive things with our customers, helping them prepare for and really be a more modern approach to cyber and risk. So, with that, networking is a huge practice of ours, and really the underpinnings of a lot of the stuff that helps, build the foundation for what organizations are looking to do as they're trying to shift to a more, zero trust model. And we see that really being the driver for us. And, networking is a key component there. So we continue to invest in that space as well, not only through, acquisition of great talent, but, we're evaluating companies today that will help bolster our capabilities in that space. Data center modernization, which is adjacent to our networking practice. We grew up in that space. Green Pages from day one has been working in the data center. We were able to take advantage of a great story with us in the first wave of virtualization. When you look at the history of Green Pages, a lot of great inflection points that led us to where we are today. So that's still core. We're still doing a lot in the data center space from our customers, for our customers, and we really feel there's a hybrid solution that really is going to be the go-to approach in how organizations are managing their workloads. And then I mentioned earlier our carrier services practice, an adjacent industry that's really same buying structure or same buying contacts for us. So carrier services has been a great addition to the portfolio as of the last few years. And we're doing some really cool things in that space. Once again, allows us to really help our customers from cradle to grave on what they're trying to accomplish, and having that piece in the portfolio. Modern workspace and managed services, other two big areas of focus for us. Those two practices have been bread and butter for us. We're growing our managed services business, double digits the last few years, which has been really great, and really helped us drive what we're trying to do. Modern workspace, as we're all looking at the way workforces are acting today and the needs that they have, are really enabling us to help our customers solve those problems as well. So really, when we look at our go-to-markets, those are really our core 7 go-to-markets as we're driving, and that's where our products and where our focus is.
Awesome. So kind of high level, great, I'll say old school, one-stop shop for needs that people have around cloud, cyber, networking, data center modernization, carrier services, modern workspace, and managed services.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. So now the kind of part of the transition here, or we call it, buyout, but now working with Abry as a tier 1 PE firm, that had to be a little different from what your kind of prior board had been, correct?
Yeah, much different. We had a board that invested way back in the early 90s. And, back then the idea was we would be a component sourcing company. We had a catalog we'd sent out to our customers that had like Green Pages, hence the name Green Pages. And they were able to buy components to build their infrastructure out. Obviously, the market evolved tremendously. Got into prepackaged hardware, servers. People weren't buying white boxes anymore. They were buying prepackaged servers and compute. And then obviously the storage space blew up. So all this stuff, even the networking space, really took off. And when you look at that back in the late 90s, early 2000s, we were able to evolve from that component sourcing into a hardware VAR. And then we started doing services back in the early 2000s, really around the data center space and VMware. We made some acquisitions that helped really drive that for us, and continued with great organic growth. But the acquisitions helped us as well from a capabilities and a maturity perspective. And then really, as we were doing the professional services, we said, hey, it'd be pretty smart if we started doing some managed services as well. And that really all took form. And then Ron was quite the visionary back in the 2013. He was really bullish on the cloud, public cloud, and we jumped both feet in and really started driving our business to be, more focused on cloud, not focused away from what we're already doing, but really in addition to. And so we've been doing the public clouds for a long time, which gives us a head start with some of the late adopters that are really trying to figure that out. Some are still trying to figure it out today from a competitive landscape, and we're very far along there, having some very mature products and capabilities in that space. So it was some great investments that were made early on that are really set the underpinnings to where we are today. So when we were able to give our existing board the exit back in 2021 and really get behind Abry, I had some great experience with Abry in the past, having worked with them a handful of times, and knew what we were getting into with them. They really are a great PE firm. They're very supportive. They give us a tremendous amount of freedom to run and be the operators, but while certainly making sure that we're hitting the governance and targets that we need to drive value creation. So there's a great blend there, and we really feel like we really have the right recipe and the right relationship with Abry. Couldn't be happier. We were really lucky to be able to partner with them to be where we are today.
Awesome. Who are your kind of main point people or partners there that work with you?
Yeah, Rob Neisowitz is the main person that we deal with. We have a board of of about 6 folks, but all in all, Rob is the lead for us and has a great team underneath him working with him collaboratively. They have some resources like Chris Nicolini, who helps when we were going down our NetSuite negotiations, for example. Abry has quite an amount of buying power with NetSuite, was able to get us some really good pricing as part of being part of their portfolio. So that stuff like that, they're very additive. One of our other board members, Paul Chisholm, who had a storied career in managed services, he's introduced us to a lot of great companies for potential acquisitions, and a lot of folks that are in his network have been very valuable to us. So as we look at our board as a whole, there's been a lot of contribution, and we certainly feel that it's the right board, and we're driving the right success. Last year, in the fund we're in with Abry, the portfolio fund we're in, we were number 1 in growth on EBITDA and top line. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's very
cool.
It was really cool. We're hoping that we can accelerate that and do a repeat back to back this year, but more to come there.
Got to watch out, because then they you want to go after the golden children, so to speak. So lean in and try and demand that much more from you. But certainly. Great problem to have. And we have a question from Jeff McCullough. So for those watching, I should have said something before. So if you're watching or listening, feel free to make any comments. Definitely feel free to ask any questions. So from Jeff, we have, hey, Josh, great conversation. How do you think vendors are doing collaborating with partners on CSP co-sell programs? Do you see room for partners like Blue Mantis participating in deals?
Yeah, so we have a very storied history with partnering. Having been a VAR and really getting close to organizations like Dell and EMC and HP and Lenovo and others, and forming great partnerships. We've got some great recognition recently from Arctic Wolf, a very strategic partner in that space. So, we do the same thing as we partner with AWS and Microsoft. We have tremendous relationships with both. We also have a really good relationship with our disti, which is our primary disti, which is Ingram Micro, and we do a lot of joint selling with Microsoft and Ingram, for example, around our CSP, and our IP is wrapped around that. We're in the marketplaces, as you can imagine, and we feel that there's been some recent changes in Microsoft, for example, where they're partnering more at the street level, which is really something that we are really looking forward to. It's I think being able to partner and walk in shoulder to shoulder with the tech stack you represent is really important in the sales process, and it helps remove friction, and it really helps drive a better outcome for everybody. And we feel like that's the right recipe for us, is to make sure that we are well aligned with our partners and vendors, and that we are shoulder to shoulder as we're going to market, and taking advantage of some of the great programs they have, but also being able to maximize the amount of gross profit we can deliver to our organization through that process.
That's great.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Perfect. Yeah, because ultimately your model is it's not just the Microsoft cloud service. It's really the customer needs to have an all-in solution, which includes that maybe as a product offering, but then kind of what are the services around it so they can consume it, and then what are some other kind of ancillary solutions that are not part of Microsoft or not part of Arctic Wolf or whatever it is that you're doing with, to then provide a kind of all-in solution, which is really your value based on your rebranding and where Blue Mantis is really headed, right?
Yeah, and so when you look at our go-to-market evolution, last year we shifted the business to having true practices, and that was really part of the building blocks of where we are today. And part of that evolution is defining the tech stacks within each practice that we want to go to market in. Some that are a resell motion, some are part of our services, as you mentioned, wrapping our services and moving together, but really making sure that we have clear alignment and visibility into how we're going to market and the partners we're supporting, and vice versa, is imperative for us. And that helps us. It helps ground us in goaling. It helps making sure that we have the right revenue targets that we're trying to chase down, not only with the vendors to maximize our ability to get gross profit, but also to to make sure that we're streamlining how we're training our folks, right? Which is important, making sure that our vendors and partners are part of those training processes, so we do understand the value props and really becoming that, a true partner. It takes a lot of training and understanding roadmaps and new feature set releases and programs that we can take advantage of, with the different manufacturers and OEMs. So it's been a great journey for us. Once again, we have a lot of history here, and we're just evolving in a way that's really delivering a great market opportunity for us and certainly more value for our customers.
That's awesome. I want to get moving here, so I want to ask about them, but just kind of give you some shout outs. You had some great award recognition with the Channel Futures Award, CRN Solution Provider list, Ingram Micro Partner of the Year, which is huge. Great, sidebar to see, Paul Bay doing so well there now, CEO. Megabyte Fishing Tournament, love the name. I know that goes with your passion around fishing. Arctic Wolf Partner of the Year Award, your new headquarters in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and of course your Innovet's involvement. So those are all awesome recognition and activities that you guys participate in.
Thank you. Yeah, it's we're creating a lot of market attention right now with some of the things we're doing, which is great. But really, the accolades go to the team. We've built a team of passionate professionals that are really committed to driving our strategy. And it's, for me, creating a culture, a winning culture is really important. And we've been able to do that. We have tremendous leaders. We have tremendous folks driving a lot of value internally and externally, not only to our customers, but to the market itself. And it takes a village. It really does to make all this successful recipe. And the team behind us is really the ones that deserve all the recognition. It's a lot of fun to be a part of a culture like this. I was able to be a part of a couple times cultures like these in my career. I've been part of some not so great cultures as well, and it's really been it's something that we're proud of here at Blue Mantis.
Awesome. You don't have to name the company, but maybe what would be an attribute of a bad culture?
Yeah, so I was part of some cultures that they were trying to grow too fast and without a purpose. It seemed like I wasn't at the table would make it. But as somebody as part of those teams, it became tough. There wasn't clarity on how we were going to market. There wasn't clarity on what we were really trying to become. And when you don't have good answers to your customers, and you don't have good market alignment, it becomes problematic. And then you start losing talent, and then that just kind of cascades, and the culture becomes a little bit toxic. And we've seen that. And so one of the things that we have a very strong eye towards is we want to grow with a purpose, and we want to grow under control. And one of the things I think is really been reflective of that is we've been under ABRI now. This is our third year under ABRI, and our growth has been primarily organic until about February this past year, February and March, when we brought on 2 acquisitions. So tremendous amount of organic growth. We're layering on acquisitions now to bolster that, but the organic growth is still there, and we're still driving that. And that's important to us. We're not trying to do a mass roll up here. We're really trying to grow with a purpose and under control. And that's the guiding light for us.
Awesome. So now to our title topic, driving top of funnel new logos. So maybe kind of explain what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so account acquisition has always been something I've been passionate about. I feel like that's really the only way you can impact significant growth is to drive market share and bring in new logos. And we've been able to do that consistently here at Green Pages. And that's when you think about, we have a lot of really great tenured reps here that have been here 20 plus years, and they have great books of business, and they're growing still, which is great to see. We have a land and expand model. We have a lot of services our customers can take advantage of. And, depending on how we get in the door with those customers initially, we have great opportunities to expand our share of wallet with the customers, and that's important. But we have to bring in new customers to really feed that growth engine, and we have a great group of select kind of named account folks that are driving a lot of good success. And then we have our growth teams, which are really driving new logos in the door, and that's important for us. So when you look at our investments in our BDR teams, our investments in marketing, and our investments in the growth teams, and leadership, you'll see a heavy focus on us driving account acquisition and being hunters. It is part of that this growth trajectory. And that's really the only way we're going to be able to do that. We're going to get some pickups from acquisitions along the way, but if we can do a really good job of driving organic growth, but also having a keen eye to our bottom line performance, that's important. That's the art and science there, and making sure that we're not investing, too far forward, and we're making sure that we can digest the investments we make and prove that they're be successful. That's the right recipe for us. So we've brought on some great talent as of late. We hired about 9 new reps in the last 18 months, and we have a new BDR team of anywhere from 8 to 12, and then a new marketing team. That's we have a person on the marketing team that's been here for quite a long time, but the rest of the marketing team is relatively new in the last year. So when you're looking at those investments in talent and investments in driving go-to-market and top of the funnel, that's really where we think the future is for us here at Blue Mantis.
Awesome. And it was great. I got to meet Monica and Sarah last week too. So definitely, I think your marketing side's in great hands.
Yeah, Sarah Foote came on, middle of last year and made just a tremendous impact. We were looking for a new marketing leader for quite a while. We had some swings and misses on some really good talent, and although I was frustrated at the time, it was the best thing that ever happened to us, to be honest with you. Sarah came in. She understands the market. She's just been tremendous to work with. She built an amazing team. And once again, we have Elizabeth Edwards, who's been here for a long time with us in many roles at Green Pages. And she's really she heads up our design part of our marketing, and it does a ton with content as well. She's been a rock for us for a long time. And Sarah built a team in with her in mind as well, but built just a great team. And to see what we'll be able to do today and how we've modernized that part of our business in such a short time, and then done a rebranding in the middle of all that. And she also swapped out HubSpot for Marketo as we kind of outgrew the HubSpot relationship and what we were trying to accomplish. I'll tell you, I couldn't be happier, and she deserves a lot of credit for some of the excitement and a lot of the excitement and the evolution that we have done around our branding and our go-to-market.
Awesome. So from Paul Rossi, we have a question. Hi, Josh. Great updates on Blue Mantis. What type of acquisition targets are you looking at?
Yeah, so acquisition is something we've been very aggressively pursuing. In the first 2 years underneath Abry, we didn't get any. I joke around that we kiss a lot of frogs before we find a prince or a princess, and we certainly had some swings and misses the first 2 years where we thought were good acquisitions, and then by the time we got through diligence or whatever, we just either didn't make the cut or they didn't make the cut, and so it goes back to our commitment to drive with a purpose and to really drive quality in the process. So, we were able to pull 2 in this year. We have another handful that we're looking at potentially for this year, which would be exciting. And some are new markets, some are capabilities driven, and some are talent and markets, right? So there's a combination there. We want them to be accretive to our overall strategy, on the onset. So we're looking for bottom line performance. We're looking for a good revenue mix. MRR really is a driving factor for us. One of the goals we have from our PE firm is to change our revenue mix to be a lot heavier weighted in MRR, monthly recurring revenue. We're on a great trajectory there. When I first got here in Green Pages, we were about 80%, a little over 80%, depending on hardware. Our services weren't as big as they are today. Now we've grown our hardware and software business double digits every year, but the cool thing is we've outpaced that growth with services growth, and now our revenue mix, our dependency on hardware is just about 40%, and so that's a huge inflection point for us as we're continuing to drive more market share, and we really are a services company now, and that's important. That's part of the rebranding, making sure that folks know that we are a services organization. Great. We'll still do, procurement, the procurement side of our business. That's very valuable to us and our customers. We do it well, and we've been doing it for a long time. But really being able to take advantage of our services and our own product catalog, that's really the differentiator for us today. Awesome. But back to the acquisition question. More to come, Paul, and thanks for the question.
Awesome. And on the kind of some of the sales tools and RevOps side that you like, you've got the Salesforce, you got ZoomInfo, Marketo, NetSuite now for the ERP. But then since we have Gong as our sponsor, so there's some consideration where you think there could be opportunities for Gong too, right?
For sure. So we've had some conversations with Gong, early on, prior to us getting moving with our rebranding, and we felt that we weren't ready to bring them on yet. We had a lot of work to do in our Salesforce environment. We stood up a brand new tenant last year and really changed, the way we were managing that part of our business from a systems perspective. We brought on a true sales ops professional, Jason Bernstein, who's really helped drive some amazing advancements in our tech stack and just overall sales operations, who's now, he's been elevated to our VP of Finance and Sales Operations. So Jason's a key member of the team and deserves a lot of credit for where we are today in that space. He's kind of heading up our NetSuite integration as well with our partners over at IT, and Gary Yu, who's been also another addition to the team, which is really exciting. But overall, when you look at what we were able to do with using Salesforce as the foundation, we also brought on high velocity sales and a bunch of other modules within the Salesforce suite. Our goal is to try to limit the third party tech stack where it makes sense. There's certain things that Salesforce does great. There's certain nuances of our business that we need to go outside of that. So we look at opportunities like Gong, and we've had conversations, told them once we get through the rebranding, let's revisit this, but we're not ready just yet. And so that time has come. So we're going to be looking at Gong and some others to see how we continue to evolve. AI is a big part of that strategy. We're looking at automation, data mining. We're looking at our ability to drive outcomes through, kind of if this then that. So if we were able to help a customer with a large Office 365 migration, what's the next thing that we should be doing? What's intuitive? How do we arm our salespeople proactively with nudges saying, hey, we just sold them this, now we should be looking at this. How do we position this? Or technology adoption is a really key to what we do as well. Making sure customers are adopted and they're leveraging the technology they buy and they see the value in it. So, there's a lot that goes into that from a relationship perspective and just an overall understanding of our clients' business. So as we get better understandings of the requirements and what they're trying to drive, it allows us to navigate that. And we use platforms and training modules and different things that allow us to create that insight for the sellers to go out there and really drive. And it starts with everything from our marketing qualified leads that we're driving through the various channels, whether it be, paid advertising, whether it's, Google ad spend, whether it's private campaigns or doing webinars or nurture campaigns or what have you. The different channels that feed the different workflows after that. So we take in marketing qualified lead. Right now, we have about a 40% conversion rate to SQL. Our sales qualified leads, we're averaging about 30% conversion for those. So, we're really excited. We're getting a lot of momentum there. And that's a lot of things have to happen for us to maintain those high levels. There's a lot of tweaking that has to happen as well for us, and we're really excited about this process. We kicked off our new lead scoring and digital strategy in the middle of Q2. So it's been running for about a half a quarter. We're really looking, really excited now that the web page has landed. That's been a huge part of the missing link for us on our ability to drive, we think, better metrics and better volume is really having that modern website, which I'll tell you, the folks at Tank Design who did our rebranding and 829 Marketing, who we partnered with to do our website, this process has been tremendous, and the support they've given us and the products that they were able to deliver for us have been just amazing. So we're excited. If you haven't seen our new website, please go visit. It's we feel like the team really nailed it, and we're driving the right message to the market today.
There you go. Tucker, maybe you can post it, bluemantis.com. Now, kind of as you're doing the lead gen, that's kind of where this funnel starts and pipeline starts and all that. So certainly great results there. So I would imagine the accuracy of contact data would also be important, right?
It is. And we've done a lot to scrub that. The good news is we have a great BDR team. We have certain lists that we'll get from various places, sometimes from OEMs. Obviously, we out of Zoom Info and DiscoverWord, that platform we pull lists out of. And there's a bunch of different ways that we pull that in. And then we're able to scrub those lists to a degree as well through our BDR program and other things that we do. And really make sure that we have the right lists and we're reducing bounce backs and everything else. So it is pivotal for us. And we have some great things that we're going to be doing coming down the pipe that we're still evaluating that will help improve that as well. In products like 6 Sense and others that we feel are going to be difference makers for us here as our go to market, and really understanding the true ROI of our marketing efforts and looking at direct marketing efforts that are easy to rationalize, and then marketing influence, which is a little bit harder, a little more tricky to navigate, but really make sure that we're understanding where those investments are, how successful those investments are, and then being able to prove that from a data perspective and not just from a gut feeling perspective. So those insights into our business are going to help us get better, and so we're super excited about that.
Awesome. And then some on the sales side with some of your hunter reps, and then certainly the inside sales BDR folks that you talked about. There's probably a lot of cold calling that happens as well.
For sure. So, we do, our BDRs do everything from try to drive attendance to webinars to, they're off partnering with our direct sellers as well and looking how they can expand within their account sets. Also doing, supporting, leads that come in from, directly or otherwise. Like I said, we have a great lead scoring strategy right now where when we engage with customers, we feel it's the right time, and it's important not to scare a customer off too early in that journey, and make sure that we can have a high attach rate to opportunities to those efforts. So, Kevin, the gentleman that heads our BDR program, he's been tremendous. He came in about the middle of last year, recruited a bunch of really talented folks. We have Evan Shaheen, for example, has been a real standout for us, and there's a great BDR team altogether, and what they've been able to do and build off of without a website has been really remarkable. Now that we have the website that really helped drive those efforts, per practice is important. And when we look at how we're approaching these go-to-markets per practice and how we've segmented that out and really made sure that we're not trying to drive general messaging, we're focused on an individual product set for one of the practices to run a campaign or for a certain amount of time, and then we're doing it for a different practice and driving the results per practice to make sure that we're meeting those revenue targets that we need per practice so we can invest. And it all starts with top of the funnel for us.
Awesome. And then going back on the cold calling side, presumably, making sure that they're dialing people that are going to pick up, that have real numbers is probably a big effort as well, right? Because you don't want them, wasting their valuable time.
Exactly. And the great thing is there's so many tools and technology, and, high velocity sales has it's not a automated dialer, but a predictive dialer that allows you to dial the phone with as you're hanging up or leaving a voicemail, you're already trying to get the next person on the call. So it really allows that process to be streamlined. It's not back in the day like you and I, Randy, when we were at telephone banks with and phone pagers and dialing with a pencil on a phone, right? So it's these times have changed, and so the access to speed for these folks. The only challenge there is if you get off a conversation and you right back onto another conversation, being able to pivot quickly, but right. The talented folks that we brought in the door really have that capability, and it's exciting to watch them evolve. And we've graduated a handful of our BDRs recently to reps. Dom Dawson, Mikey Fowler, Steve Katz, to name a few. Very successful transitions into from BDR to rep, and that's a great feeding system for us. And certainly we'll continue to invest there.
Awesome, very cool. What else here? Then also we're talking before kind of on your territory planning, management, quotas and all that. That's also kind of an important initiative in terms of, keeping that go-to-market team focused.
Yeah, it's important we get that right. we want to keep our folks motivated, but we also want to stay profitable, right? So there's that balance there of investment and profitability, and that's the art of it. There's certainly some science behind it as well, but we feel like we recently a couple of years ago did a complete overhaul of our commission structure and our bonus structure throughout the organization, and really that alignment internally has been tremendous. And sales reps never like to have a new commission plan rolled out, different from the old, so that you do get some noise around that and some valuable feedback. We've been able to tweak and move based on some of that feedback. And but really, when you look at what we're trying to accomplish today, it's very different from what we were trying to accomplish, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, or even longer. And it's important that we stay relevant and certainly competitive with what we're paying our folks, and keep people motivated to keep taking the hill with us. And that's the balance that we look to strive. We do quotas and goals on an annual basis. That's how we manage the business today.
Oh, awesome. And we had a question from Thomas Fryer. I believe that is young Thomas, not his dad, Tom Fryer. Both great sellers for sure. So Thomas says, for the BDRs, what do you think is the most effective prospecting strategy? Cold calling, email, LinkedIn email, anything else?
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer this in a way you probably won't appreciate just on the onset. All of the above. I don't think there's, one of the things I tell everybody is there's no magic bean or silver bullet in sales. It's you gotta have good work ethic, and you got to have good follow through. And if you can do those two things, you'll be effective. And it's little things like following up a cold call voicemail with an email, right? Consistently. Every time you speak to somebody live, you send out meeting notes. Hey, this is what we talked about. This is what we recap. Here's, making sure that when you do get somebody live, that you have you're setting the appointment for the next thing, right? So getting commitment, giving yourself another reason, a purpose to reach back out, right? That's purpose-based calling, I think, is the most important thing. Being able to call with something that's valuable to them on the onset. The buyers is really understanding your buyer personas as well. And I think it's important that you do a little bit of research when you're in your cold calling or in your general business development. Strategy should be insightful. You should understand the industry you're calling about. You should understand some of the drivers that are driving different behaviors within that industry, and that'll make you relevant. And the more relevant you can be, the more success you'll have. LinkedIn's an amazing tool, for a lot of things, and it's I encourage all my folks, is to leverage it. It's sometimes as easy as knowing who the CEO is linked with that can help drive some value back to you. It's like, hey, listen, you're linked in with Ron Dupler. I'd love to get a meeting. It's like little things like that. Calling those, creating that connection between our organization and theirs is certainly important. And and getting in a good cadence. But I'll tell you, follow through is key. And if you have the work effort, you have the desire, and you add follow through to that, then you'll be successful, in my opinion.
Awesome. So Thomas, I had the pleasure of meeting down at Alabama. His dad and I and Ken Doherty and I'm forgetting who else, spoke at a sales class. So definitely impressive young man. I think he's going to be a senior at Penn State, has a cool internship now at SAP. So Thomas, you might want to reach out here to Josh to see what jobs, because you certainly hire BDRs out of college, especially those that have some experience, correct?
Definitely. And it's funny, different folks you get. It's exciting to me that now colleges are offering curriculums around sales. And that's really. So it's interesting getting folks that come and their notion of what sales is coming in from college is a little bit different than the reality sometimes. But it's certainly a step in the right direction. But we really do. I mentioned Evan earlier on the call. Evan was a Lowell police officer that wanted to reinvent his career, and he's been tremendous. And Evan's dad for a long time, John Shaheen, who's his nickname was John Shaheen the Machine. He's an animal at driving new business, and he's a chip off the old block for sure. So it was great to have Evan, an opportunity to bring Evan on. We had the timing was perfect for us, for both of us, and he's been great. And we have a bunch more. There's some folks that just came out. Steve Katz, I mentioned, he was right out of college working already as a BDR for Kevin Garabedian, who runs our team. He was able to recruit Steve, and Steve, right from college started his BDR career, and now he's a field rep, which is exciting. So all these things all happen with hard work and a positive attitude. So that's what it takes.
Awesome. Great environment. Well, you've been fantastic. So much more we didn't have a chance to get to, but awesome words of wisdom and experience and insights, certainly. So for those who've been watching, thanks so much. Feel free to share with others. Tucker is always kind of posted everywhere, so should be pretty easy to find. Gong, thank you so much for the sponsorship. And again, for those that are members of the sales community, thanks. For those that are not, feel free to go get your free membership. And next week on Tuesday, the 25th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to have Vlad Rozanovich, who's at Lenovo, SVP and president. And his topic is going to be perseverance in a down market. So certainly a great topic. And I think you're partners of Lenovo, and you know Vlad a bit as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we do some great things with Lenovo. It's a great partnership. And they were our number one OEM from a resale perspective last year. And I'm sure they're going to be doing the same this year. So great partnership there. And we appreciate all the support.
Awesome. Very cool. So Tucker, thanks as always for your help behind the scenes. And Josh, certainly wish you and Terry and Ron and the team best wishes in the future, and look forward to staying close to you guys. So everybody, thanks for watching.